This is Culture Crime Fighters. We are a Culture Crimes Task Force so powerful, so far-reaching, not even the most dastardly of villains can escape. Our goal is to identify and defeat all culture criminals wherever they lurk and destroy them. For too long have these cretins carried out their nefarious deeds, and we will sit for it no longer. Beware. You may commit your culture crimes, but if you do...
Wait. I'm sorry. This is not an episode of Culture Crime Fighters. There's only one Culture Crime Fighter, but it is Vigilante Williamson here on the first episode. Little sorry about the dryness on that one. That's what she said. Of the Culture Crime Fighter, singular. Matt is working because, as you know, this is Vegas week. And I'm sure I'm not going to have the only show that's going to be a little bit altered by Vegas. But because of Vegas, and Matt is going to Vegas, I'm not. Because of it, he has to work. So that's how life works. So I appreciate everyone joining me on this. Like I said, it's not the Culture Crime Fighters. Just one. But still got some stuff I want to talk about. Still got quite a bit of stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about Suicide Squad at the box office. Entertainment industry as a whole, especially with this whole Substack thing going on with comics. Scarlett Johansson versus Disney. And another just kind of, I'm not sure what the way to call it. Maybe a self-examination topic, not just for me, but for us as a whole. Mainly, not necessarily with the entertainment thing, but mainly in a non-leftist political sphere. Before we get into any of that, I got to say hey to the chat and anyone who's watching on playback. I'm not trying to rap, just having to freestyle right there. OMG, says Lorthoff. But he then goes with hi, everyone. And his son, Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast, says you win. I guess you won the no prize because there ain't no prize. And saying hi to Man of War. Hail Noble Iro. Appreciate it. Hail T-shirt historian. Sub Colonizer says Sentient Dildo. Buzz. And hey, everybody. Oh, missed it. Hey, everybody from Kill the Child. Do I get a what's going on? What's going on? Hell. If something's missing tonight, we're down a foul ball. He's unfortunately at work. And I will, speaking of which, I will be hosting the MFer this week on his channel. Maybe it's a VWer. It doesn't have the same ring. So after missing last week, I will be on. I will not only be on this episode, I'll be hosting it. So yeah, we are down a foul ball. I guess Sentient Dildo can't put his finger on it. Yeah, I did get a what's going on from Killy Child. And then T-shirt historian going a bit overboard. Hey, and I have not gone to the P.O. box because of work and the Vigilante Mobile being down. I have to use the Mom's Vigilante Mobile right now, so that's kind of awkward. That's been a bit awkward. Got us up to Killy. And I think I said hi to everyone to start off. If I didn't, blame my head, not my heart. So I guess I could bring, I didn't think, I had the topics laid out, but I'm like, should I bring up articles? I do kind of want to have the Suicide Squad, the numbers at least, even if I don't bring up the article. The Suicide Squad, even though I liked it, it's not a perfect movie. It's not a perfect movie at all. But it is a fun movie, even if it could have stood to be toned down. We were just talking on Nick Weiser's channel, held to 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, about The Rock, and I talked about how the movie The Rock, I'm sorry, not the wrestler, who's actually I could bring up because the Jungle Cruise not being as successful as maybe Disney had hoped. But anyways, as far as Suicide Squad goes, we were watching the movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. And Nicolas Cage, and even though he's still Nicolas Cage, you still get that very specific, watch your fucking mouth. Nicolas Cage, he doesn't say that's a face-off line. He was toned down and better for it. Understated and better for it. And I think if I had a criticism of Suicide Squad, it could have been toned down quite a bit and still been not only entertaining, but probably better. Even though I like the over-the-topness, it still could have used a little tone down. It starts off hot, and it starts off really hot as far as jokes go, because, again, not a fan of James Gunn's humor. He's just not – some of it's okay. But he's just not as funny as he seems to be, convinced he is. Let me look at the box office. So keep showing me the old one. What was the? Okay, Variety. His latest movie, Pig. I haven't heard of that one. Is that a James Gunn movie? And yeah, that's another thing. We'll get into the whole story of the box office in a second. Because yeah, I mean, we had a little run of movies: Godzilla versus Kong, Quiet Place, even Mortal Kombat made money. Then you had Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious, was it 9 or 10, whatever the hell number they're at. That made a lot of money. That made almost old school money. I think it's up to 750 million worldwide. So that made a ton of money. And Black Widow, say what you will. Oh, Cage's, Nicolas Cage's movie Pig. I hadn't heard of it till now. Or maybe I have. Maybe I have. But I think, we were getting over this whole coup thing. And then the airline variant, we'll just call it that because I don't know what the fuck I can say on this platform. And it's F9 because that made 70 million. So you had big money box office movies. Suicide Squad, unfortunately, only made 26.5 million. And worldwide, about 72 million. So, and apparently they spent 285 between production. I'll just bring up the page so you can see what I see. Hold on a second. Between production and promotion, $285 million. So, yeah. This is a Variety article. It says why Suicide Squad stumbled at the box office. I think a lot of it has to do with, like I said, the airline variant and a day and date thing. But, hey, when I mean day and date, I mean releasing the movie in theaters and HBO Max at the same time. But Godzilla vs. Kong still made money under that thing, that same release schedule. Jesus, sorry. See this guy, they keep pushing Lil Nas X, and they keep pushing the gay agenda. That's a whole nother can of worms. We'll probably get into a little bit of that with Tim Drake. But back to the Suicide Squad. They got around 72 million. That's the worldwide figures. Remember, they don't get all of that because the theaters get some. And when you talk about globally, a lot of that money still goes to the home country, especially in China, which I'm not sure if this movie came out in. But apparently, it cost $185 million to produce, which I could believe with all the special effects, and $100 million in promotional, which I didn't really see. Did you guys see the promotion of the Suicide Squad? I feel like I really didn't. Said there's a million tourists right here right now in lovely Croatia. Coup numbers are normal. It's all BS. I don't know. Maybe people just didn't want to see the Suicide Squad. They're pushing that, like I said, airline variant a ton here. I'm not sure how much it impacts normies. I couldn't tell you. I'm seeing more masks, but I'm not being made to wear one yet. Willy's Wonderland, a.k.a. Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie. I did see that one came out around Christmas time, if I remember correctly, with Nicolas Cage. So I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you, maybe people didn't want to see comic book movies. Islington Girl in one of our chats, I believe it was the Primetime Kings. I'm on so many shows. It's killing me. On the Primetime Kings on Monday, and Islington Girl, I think, was in the chat saying she's just burnt out on comic book movies. And I think a lot of normies are. And even as a non-normie, I sort of am. But at the end of the day, it didn't make money. That's whatever the reason, whether it was the movie itself, the promotion. I would love to see how that money was spent. Even as someone glued in, I heard more about Suicide Squad from other people. And that's why I said not hate, and I appreciate you being here, but just burnout. If I said hate, blame my head, not my heart. Yeah, I meant to say burnout. It's sad there are some good movies that are not going to be successful at the box office in the age of the coof. Yep, unfortunately, hell, J.M. Cruz. I talked about our stream with The Rock, or about The Rock, the movie The Rock, and J.M. Cruz, aka the Stay at Home Podcast, was on that stream. Pretty cool. We'll talk about the whole movie thing in a little bit. I'll talk a little bit about Suicide Squad, and then we'll talk about how the entertainment industry will be in general. over comic movies. I don't give a fuck about Suicide Squad, says Ascension Dildo. I think a lot of people felt that way. I think Black Widow probably didn't help things. Had this released before Black Widow, it probably would have made more money. Because, I mean, that kind of was a dud. Did not see it myself. So I cannot give you a review on how it was, but it's been perceived as a dud. But again, that's in this community or fellowship, if you prefer. And I know sometimes you can get echo chambery in here. We're humans. We're humans just like everybody else. I couldn't tell you how Black Widow was received, because I've heard positive reviews of He-Man outside the echo chamber. Not like glowing. They said if you expect the original, you'll be disappointed, but it's okay for what it is. The animation is good, and so that helps it a lot. That was a non-community, just giving a impromptu review, it was on a stream. They just said their thoughts. So you gotta remember, inside this echo chamber, and this isn't an echo chamber, but inside this community, there could be one opinion, but outside of it, there could be others. And normies don't care as much, so they don't invest as much. But I think a lot of people, back to the main point, I think a lot of people are getting tired of comic book movies. And I couldn't tell you because Suicide Squad was solid. It's worth a watch. If you want a good action movie, it's worth a watch. I like Smoking Aces better, which is not, it's sort of like, but sort of isn't. Just in the quirkiness of it, it puts me in mind Smoking Aces on steroids. But Smoking Aces was more serious. I'm trying to think of another movie it's similar to. I think there was a movie, I think that may be comic book related, The Losers. I want to say Captain America and a comedian, aka Jeffrey, or Negan, if you will. I know Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in it. It puts me in mind of that, but again, on steroids. There was a lot of special effects, a lot of violence, a lot of really cool action scenes in the Suicide Squad. Honestly, if this had been released in a different time, just as is, it would have made a lot more money. This was released same time, 2019. It's probably a $800 million movie. Ocean's 11 with ultra violence, similar to, and dick jokes. That's an interesting take, T-Short, a historian, but that's in the same vein of what I'm trying to say. Same energy of what I'm trying to say. Similar to that, but they killed too many of the 11. That's another thing. There's some flaws in it, man. There's some flaws. It's worth watching if you want a little bit of fun escapism. That's what I'll say. It's worth watching if you want some fun escapism. But it didn't make money or enough. I mean, sheesh, these numbers. Yeah, but the whole gun thing, that's another can of worms. Another can of worms. And Islington Girl, this is an interesting perspective, and I can understand it and can kind of see it. My opinion, but for comic book normies, this movie after movie after movie just seems the lowest common denominator at this point. It was 3 or 4 years ago, to be fair. And it kept going and going and going. And I just think it really doesn't help with all these damn Disney series. Think about what they did, and this is, kind of to bleed into the streaming discussion and how the entertainment industry is even going to work going forward. You had, from The Mandalorian on, you had something every week, including 3 from Disney Plus, something every single week. You had an episode of Mandalorian, and it became an episode of WandaVision, comic book related, and an episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, comic book related, and an episode of Loki, comic book related. Then you got hit with Black Widow. So it was like we picked right up from where we left off in 2019, where you were getting hit over the head every few months with a Marvel movie. And I can understand the burnout. And there is a cross, us fans may say, oh, DC, Marvel. No. Normies think Batman's in the Justice League and Spider-Man. Oh, no, Batman's in the Avengers and Spider-Man's in the Justice League. And you know what? Let it die for a decade. I don't think you have to. I do think you have to space them out. And maybe, I'll rephrase it. You can do comic book movies all day, but superhero movies, maybe you need to chill out on. That's probably the best way to put it. Because there are a lot of stories that could work for comic books or from comic books. Never forget The Walking Dead is a comic book. So it's not like, there are things that normies like that come from the medium. And I think there's a lot of comics that could be adapted, and we'll be talking about some of that later with the Substack stuff. But I do think superheroes have sort of run their course and need to be at least spaced out. Dread was as a comic book movie, but it's not a superhero per se. And since you did, I was talking about superhero stuff. And yeah, Gunn did have some Nambla adjacent commentary. A lot of stuff was just edgy boy humor, edgy motherfucking, early adopters of Twitter, 2009 era. I got to say something shocking, bad jokes. But some of the stuff was legitimately concerning. 95% of it, well, I say, I'm not even going to go that high because I can't remember the percentage offhand, but there was some weird shit. Yeah, since you did, I was talking about the superhero shit. And yeah, that's true. That's cool non-superhero stuff. And that may be the future of comic books, to be fair. And JM Cruz, a.k.a. the Stay-at-Home Podcast, says, to me, do you think production teams just can't write proper stories that would appeal to people nowadays? I do. I've been saying this for a while. I've been saying that wokeness that we attach to and we key in on nowadays, that is a result of people who want to hide their shitty writing behind something. People who aren't good, who aren't talented, and need a reason that they could dismiss criticism. Oh, you're just an istaphobe. You're the wrong kind of person. That's why you don't like this. This isn't written for you. And they can do that because of wokeness. But the real core issue is their incompetence, their inability to create stories. I've said that they are too set piece based, even though, there's good set pieces. And to be fair, go back to the Suicide Squad. I think it was a little more balanced than average. But I remember seeing The Mandalorian. You can go back, check my reviews of The Mandalorian season 2, because they're still on the channel. The strings I did right after I would watch each episode, or usually right after, sometimes a couple days later. But in any event, I said, man, sometimes it feels like Favreau is writing these action set pieces and coming up with story afterwards to try to mesh it together or string it together. And he did it better than most. I feel like a lot of people are writing that way. So they're not really thinking about things like character or story or even continuity, because they're just like, well, these are dumb idiots. Here's a property that they know. Here's a remake of something. Set pieces, agenda, we're done. And so that's where you're not getting good results for us as far as stories. And consider this, they've been going so long at this. You have now a generation of Hollywood people and creatives who are now akin to this. And this is the only way they know to write stories. So yeah, I don't think these teams can do it. And I think another thing, I'm not sure you're applying it. When you have teams and you have a collective, you lose that singular vision of just one or two guys or gals who have a story to tell. And so if that's an issue, or if that's something you're also implying, I do think that could be an impact. A lot of decisions by committee, so to speak. And Islington Girl apparently is not saying hello enough to Lord Thoth, but she's sorry. The Canadian on Canadian violence here. And apparently her browser took the stray bullet and died, so she had to refresh. Islington Girl is better than us plebs. Excuses. Understand that. Internet has been awful, and she runs her mouth with plenty. You think companies should be angry about losing their investment money with these bad writers and directors? Seems like they love losing money at this point. Man, I might as well kind of get into this, is kind of meshing through topics. So I don't think the entertainment industry as it currently exists can be saved. And by saved, I mean we get consistently earnest content. You can't always make everything good, but earnest attempts to make good stuff. But that's not going to happen because it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. Alex Kurtzman being renewed is mind-boggling, and I'm not a diehard Trek guy. I'm just going off the numbers. Even in a climate where South Park is getting $900 million, one of my rivals, AEW, when their contract renews, they're going to get a ton of money. A ton of money. There's a lot of properties getting a lot of money, even in decline, because the decline of TV is so low and it's going so fast that if you can outpace that decline less than everything else, people will think of you as successful. But Star Trek didn't do that. Star Trek didn't even do that. Star Trek just plummeted in ratings, plummeted in costs. It did not make his money back by any discernible metric, neither Discovery or Picard. So how you could renew that man for an extreme raise, and apparently Doomkai had some report that maybe that the number isn't true. If they renewed him for cheap, I would say, that's how it goes. This is the budget, and they just kept him around. But to renew him like he scores 30 points a game or throws for 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 4,500 yards, you know what I'm saying? To pay him like he's a star athlete, to give you terrible subpar shows me that the people who make decisions don't give a fuck about the money. They really don't. They really care so much about this message. There's really something dark at it. And this is why I don't think I'm about to say society can't be saved. Probably can't, at least not by us. But sports ball is also falling. But I made a sports ball reference. Those are the only people who get paid what Kurtzman got paid. Where's the oh man, I lost the comment. Here we go. So when it comes to these investors, and this is why we can't save pop culture, because the starving them out doesn't really matter. Something like Suicide Squad, because that doesn't have a message, that has to make money. But if you're about the message, if you're on brand, you don't have to make money. They've proven that time and time again. That's why don't be shocked if The Witch comes back again. Because after Kurtzman making the money he made, Kathleen Kennedy is the third most successful producer in Hollywood film history. It goes Kevin Feige, Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy. She can make a lot more than Kurtzman did for renewing her contract. So we'll see what happens with that. But they don't care about losing their money. And that's why I don't know where the future of entertainment is going to be. What I do know is it's us. It's independent. It's different companies. I brought up AEW. Substack is trying to do the AEW thing with comics. If you haven't heard, there's a company called Substack. They recently poached off James Tynion, who writes Batman. And they also poached off Nick Spencer, who writes Amazing Spider-Man, and Jonathan Hickman, who writes X-Men. And I think there's others, all from Marvel and DC. And they have their platform already exists as a publishing platform. I don't know if they're trying to be the publishing version of Spotify, what they're trying to do. But they're going for comic books. They don't just do comic books. They do a lot of different publishing style things, a lot of newsletters and brand. Or maybe that you can consider them a souped up medium, but they're getting into the comic book world. And so, I think you might have companies like that have a different vision. And then you're going to have independence. There's a channel here on this platform called Dust. And I believe they also have a platform. They do sci-fi. I've heard about it. I mean, my granddad put me on it. I haven't been watching as much as I would like. But I think that's a thing that's going to be happening, where you have these independent companies that figure a way to make on budget things. And one thing I actually comment more about Doomcock's video. Check out his video, by the way. He dropped it today. It's very interesting. He talked about the budgets for, was that his video or Thinking Critical? I saw it on them both. But if what was I saying? The budget, I think he's talking about the budgets having to lower to under 100 million, which would be a good thing. To go back to the conversation about The Rock, we also talked about Michael Bay being better without the technology. I think a lot of these films would be better if they didn't have all the money for set pieces in the world. If they knew they couldn't get $200 million for a budget so they can just blow shit up. If they knew they had to write more stories, Okay, we only got 75 million, make it work. They would make it work. Necessity, what's it called? You guys are smarter than me in the chat. I know it was necessity is the mother of invention or something like that. You guys are smarter than me in the chat. Sorry to skip some of you guys' comments. If I did, that's what you get when there's too much studio input in the creative side of movie making. Agreed. Hell the weight now. Hell. Whole thing with the Disney lawsuit is all about this. Bob Chapek is done wasting money because investors are getting cranky and creators there are crying. Chapek is a bit, you know what? People talk a lot of shit about him, and you probably should because apparently he's a penny pincher. But that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing because somebody has to care about this damn money. Yeah, $900 million for South Park. Yep, I had the sports ball reference, and sports ball is another thing that's falling off hard as far as ratings. I don't know if you guys heard about the Olympics. I think half the ratings of the Brazil games, and D&D got 300 million from Netflix. That's another thing. Is this streaming going to work? Is streaming going to work? I couldn't tell you which video or stream I did, but I talked about Netflix and their financials over the past few years. Last year is one of the only profitable years they've ever had. And that's only because the government, they couldn't produce content. Yes, there was a little bit of an uptick there, like 200 million global subs. But like, and that sounds good when you consider, oh man, all this money's coming in each month. Bro, outside of Amazon, which has their own servers, and even then you got to write it off because any server space you use, server space you can't sell. Server space ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. It ain't free. And then you have to produce the fucking content. Costs a lot of money. We talked about these budgets earlier. Suicide Squad is $285 million. But you count promotion. That's probably why Netflix has no promotion for this shit. They can't really afford it. So everybody wants to be Netflix. Netflix is handing out, throwing paper at people like substitute teachers, like they're substitute teachers. And it's like, well, how is this going to be sustainable? And everybody wants to be Netflix. Like, how is this? This doesn't make sense. It almost feels like the fucking entertainment industry is accidentally or intentionally, I'm not a Illuminati member, couldn't tell you, but it looks like it's become a fucking Ponzi scheme. Used to be a show that got canceled mid-first season before it was streaming, but now those days may have to come back. Man, I don't know. It's funny. All the shows that got canceled for getting like 8 million people to watch when it should have been 10, it's like, the numbers that certain shows got canceled for, they would kill for now. Bring back Dungeon Master dude from the cartoon. Didn't watch Dungeon Master. And I did, this Tim Drake thing. I'll probably talk about it a little later. That stop make original characters. Stop making everybody gay. And Thoth has zero issues with a bro being bi, but like listen, he's not though. He's had like, they're just adding it there. They're just making it up. But I mean, it's another day, another person, gender, race, or sexuality swap. And I guess Nick Spencer fucked up Cap, which a lot of people have. Cap's been getting it like a porn star, unfortunately. And speaking of which, Thoth prefers boobs. Don't care who sleeps with who. I care about characters being mindlessly changed for no reason, man. If he was that, okay. Like when they did it with Harley and what's her name? Poison Ivy, I didn't mind it. Because I'm like, there's some hints to maybe that even back in the day. If you watched even the Batman animated series, it almost felt like Ivy wanted to ride the Harley, so to speak. If you really look for, you're like, oh, okay. So you're like, that's not out the way. But when you just make characters like Tim Drake, no, fucking Cyclops and Wolverine and Jean all doing the thruple thing, nah, that's too much. I do care. I don't care what, if you're regular, you're a human. But these fictional characters have character traits. Just don't change them willy-nilly and create new characters. Why is it okay for whoever this dude is to be bi at all over the place, but Batman and Catwoman have sex and it's a nuclear meltdown. So dumb. You know what? I don't really go for heroes and hero books for fucking at all. Straight, bi, gay, whatever. I don't really care about Batwoman and Catwoman fucking. I don't care about Tim Drake fucking a dude. I care that Tim Drake was an established character, had established traits, and you're just throwing them on willy-nilly. And then I've said this time and time and again, when they start doing stuff like this, the writing suffers. If they ever could make something creative, it will work. And I brought up AEW. Before they were at AEW, Kenny Omega had this storyline with him and a guy, and everybody wanted them to get together. And it was a great storyline. It's a wrestling thing. I know everyone's not into wrestling. Like 2018, Kota Ibushi, the Golden Lovers. You can look it up. There's documentaries and shit on the internet. It was a really well done storyline about a gay romance, a mixed pro wrestling, and it worked. So if you come up with stuff that was genuine, it will work. But it wasn't. It was. They never outright said it was gay. But that was the point. Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. No, that's it. Necessity is the mother of invention. Thank you, Stay at Home Podcast, J.M. Cruz, and then Awake Down had it too. It's Plato, apparently. I didn't know Plato said. I just thought, it's just one of those things made up by the ether. And yes, indeed, there was an Olympics. Canada and USA, we all fought for medals. I'm not sure who won. All the Olympics were about strong woman finding the power, not about sports pathetic. I don't even know if people notice that. Like normies, a lot of, conservatives or whatever, which I'm a non-leftist. I mean, I guess I lean libertarian, but I don't like labels, right? Because then you have to be beholden to it. But they will say the wokeness impacted it, and I think it did. But man, I think there was just a disinterest. And maybe it was due to the wokeness. Maybe it's due to the lockdown. I just feel like, people just didn't care. And you don't have to explicitly state their sexuality unless you plan on them having sex in the story. Guess it's all aboard to train the bat porn. Yeah, I'd rather just not. I'd rather not cross those bridges or cross those streams. Cyclops is pretty gay. You watch your fucking mouth. I like Cyclops, man. He gets a bad rap. These writers seem to care deeply about everyone boning, probably because they can't write a real story. Yeah. Goes back to what I think J.M. Cruz asked, what's going on with these production teams. They can't write. So that's why they have to focus on everything else but a story. Anything but a story. And yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. Smash it. And Pat S. just woke. Sleep is all messed up. All messed up. And our show's all messed up. As you can see, we're down a Matt because he has to work because he's going to Vegas, and this is how it worked out. So I appreciate anyone who's joining today or watching this playback. Please, as the Wake Down has kindly suggested, smash the like button and a share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Ascension Dildo saying sup to Pat. Hell, Pat S. Hell, everyone in the chat. All you guys are much appreciated. Much appreciated. So while we're talking about the industry, I brought up Substack, and I brought up, what they've done as far as getting all these comic book writers. I think when you're talking about the entertainment industry, the future is going to be on some level independent because these big budget, massive corporations cannot sustain this from a creative nor financial standpoint. I talk about Netflix is not usually a profitable company because it costs a lot to run a Netflix when it comes to server space and producing content. And everybody is putting every egg into the will be another Netflix basket. Disney Plus has done well. Disney Plus has done really well. They're at like 100+ million subs now. So they did a good job. I'm not sure of their profitability, though, because this costs a lot of money. And again, I think it was indeed Doomcock who had the video about the financials and them, at least the rumor being, this is all rumor, but the rumor being they want to get the budgets down for a lot of the Disney Plus stuff going forward. So I don't see how this is going to be sustainable as is. But what the YouTube model has proven is that smaller companies, smaller groups can fund themselves easier. So, it's cost me, well, I just bought a green screen. I've bought stuff for this channel. I mean, I bought different supplies, but just to run a stream, it costs me nothing. Cost me nothing to just hit well, I pay $10 a month. Okay. So it cost me a little bit. But it cost me less, a lot less than a lot of bigger budget content, whether that's sports, whether that's whatever, anything, sitcoms, even documentary, even reality shows, all way less or way more than a YouTube or similar content. And so, or in this case of Substack, publishing. And a lot of people dismiss comics, and sort of rightfully so. It's not nearly the mainstream relevance it once was. Manga is, but comics aren't. But it is a canary in the coal mine. The culture war started in comics. Started there first. Maybe you can count gamers too, Gamergate. But comics are kind of the test breed for that. And now they've come up with we have the crowdfunding, Indiegogo, Kickstarter thing. And now with this Substack, you have a company who's willing to put their money where their mouth is. Now, if you start your own thing, will you get immediately a contract like James Tinian? No. But it offers you the right to own your own publishing rights. Substack just gets a percentage of each transaction, like a 10% of each transaction. That's how they plan on making their money. But otherwise, you have a subscription, a monthly subscription, and you can produce content, whether that's, they're opening up their comic stuff with all these creators they've poached. Or if you have a normal blog, it's almost like a souped up medium. And we'll see what happens. And Hell Punk Waddle, Hell Chat. Cinch Ditto says, just like Uber, the plans to kill out the competition and raise prices didn't work out, though. Yeah, that's the plan for Netflix. I don't know what they're stuck as far as financials. But, are there going to be other platforms like Substack for other forms of content? Maybe YouTube even. Maybe it's already here to help. I mean, there are already a lot of tools to monetize scripted content. We'll just call it scripted content. Maybe it won't be film. Maybe it won't be show. Maybe it'll be its own thing. And also, never forget, fans are willing to accept lower production values for good stuff. So I think what's happening in comics can be emulated with scripted content. And a lot of people don't. I've gotten a lot of pushback. I've gotten a lot of pushback about, it can't be done. You can't fund. You'll never be able to crowdfund, or no company, no startup. Well, maybe they would. Who knows? Some of these startups are nuts. But no Substack for video, YouTube. They're never going to put in a budget for an Infinity War, right? Okay. But you can get really well done content done for a lower cost. And then I think because of the how cost prohibitive it is, even for the companies, even for these big budget things, it's what we just said with the Play-Doh. Necessity is the mother of invention. So now we're going to get more and more indie creators, people who, and they're not all going to be in the genre space. They're going to be in all sorts of different space. We already have that in comedy. People who just have a passion for something and want to put it out there. It's already easier for them to make content, and it's going to continue. So I think Substack, not necessarily the company itself, but just the fact that people are willing to invest that much into something like comics. I think, and I'm hoping other things like that come up for other forms of content. I think there's going to be a further democratization over the content that's being created, and a lot of this has already started. Yeah. And yeah, video games. You know why video games is fine, isn't the girl? I'll read your comment just before I get into it. As a gamer, she says, video games are still more than fine. Yeah, there are a few woke games, but they get mocked. Still times with none of that in it. Video games have to function. They have to be fun. They have a function to serve. They can add the stuff to ancillary elements like story, and then when you have a woke of us situation where it's a story-based game is not going to work. But I'm reminded of what James Murphy from LCD Sound System said about when he started to do more dancing music. He said, whether something's good or not is less relevant to whether or not it functions. Do people move? Yes or no? And the answer is no, it's not good. The answer is yes, it is good. It doesn't matter anything else. So that's the same with games. Are people having fun? Yes or no? Fall Guys, Among Us. It's not. What are people having fun? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's all that matters. And Newbound Turk, hail Newbound Turk. I didn't say hey. One of the modulantes, one of the cool, has his own channel. Make sure you check it out. Speaking of channels, real quick, 24/7 has made it to 500. Hopefully, you still at 500 subs. If you haven't subbed to 24/7 Fusion Media, please do. Just want to toss that. I don't even have a sub to Newbound Turk. I don't know what you're doing. Sub to him. Sub to the Wake Down. Sub to everybody who has a channel in the chat. But yeah, Uber bought out Postmates. So, I mean, if you're talking about the Uber thing, animation is cheaper than filmmaker. Imagine a lot of indie creators will use it. Yeah. And again, I think people will accept less than stellar production quality. I mean, shit, you guys are watching this. There's 17 people watching this shit. It's just a logo flashing. Like, you know what I mean? So I definitely think people will do it. And so, there's animation as it currently takes. Well done animation takes time. But you can use an animation program and be a little bit lo-fi, so to speak, and still get tell really good stories with it. And hell, again, Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast. Appreciate you being back. Exactly what games are boring and dumb. Yeah. Sup, Man of War, again, sup. And then sub. Not sure if it was the New Bomb or I feel like you probably already subbed to 24/7, but then again, you could have always been unsubbed. That wacky YouTube. But ultimately, Substack is a good thing. At least the energy behind it. I don't know if the platform is going to be successful. And it is also a good thing because it weakens anything that weakens major company holds on creativity is a good thing. So we only have two major comics, DC and Marvel. And now the indies outside of the crowdfunding are getting big. Crowdfunded comics. Shout out to Vinny Art, another channel you should sub to. He does a lot of crowdfunding. And now you have a totally different platform in which people can, what the plan is, I guess, to release digital stuff and then use collections and trades to sell as far as hard copy stuff. So this sort of thing, I'm hoping and believe will be in the scripted space, whether that's animation, whether that's film, and hell, comic chat. Hell, we're talking about the future of the entertainment industry. We're talking about, I'm not sure if you're a comic guy. I'm not sure you heard this company Substack, who just bought a lot of writers from Marvel and DC. And I'm talking about that and whether or not it can be recreated for scripted content. If you are willing to, as a fan, meet them halfway with production quality. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about outsourced animation. Essentially, Dildo said you can outsource animation to Romania. Great for a fraction of the price of the West. We're in the era of Fiverr. We're also in the code era. Hail Robert, the code era. And got hay for my man Punk Waddle to Man of War. And Man of War, neighbor of the beast, 665, neighbor of the beast. Living up to his name. He says, hammered as fuck in Felician Casino. Think I overtipped my bartender. Hell, VW, and the rest of you glorious MFers. Where's our resident actor? I want to say that. He used the word that rhymes with zinc. That's probably not a good word to rhyme. Anyways, Matt, unfortunately, has to work. So that's why it's only a culture crime fighter. Singular. But yeah, next week, Foulball will be back. We'll be back on his channel. Please sub to my man Matt from Culture Crime Fighters. And also, speaking of which, I'll be hosting the MFer. Oh, has the code era officially started? Please, so yeah, if you haven't subbed to Robert, please sub. Hopefully, you have some content. And Comic Chat, you're not wrong as far as this going to take them a minute. It's going to take some time. But like, we're in the era where everybody is trying to go to streaming, and streaming is not profitable right now. It's still not. Netflix, who's the leader, still takes losses, and they have 200 million subscribers. So I don't see how the mainstream industry could last at this budget. So they got to lower budgets themselves. And Substack is something I didn't think would happen for comics. Granted, comics are way cheaper, way cheaper to produce. But I think there's going to be a lot of people who are just willing to, because the entertainment ain't there. There's going to be some wacky investor somewhere saying, rubbing his little chinny chin together. Like, I wonder if I could create something. Hell, remember that? What was that shit? Quibi or something? Somebody tried that. Like, it didn't work, but somebody tried it. You never know what a wacky investor might do. You never know. Hell, they're still invested into fucking Kurtzman, so you never know. And woo for my man Robert. Woo, like Ric Flair. Ric Flair drip. You need someone to tap in when one of you is out fighting crime. Yeah, you know, I only asked one person. I thought to ask people. I kind of need to do a solo stream. I don't do enough solo streams. And yeah, we already have his link. Please check out Robert, aka the Code Era. Please give my man a sub. And so now Ascension Ditto is sub. And you should be too. Yeah, YouTube will weather the storm. It's normal people. We don't need budgets. And I see so much stuff on YouTube outside this space that's like still entertaining despite not being budgetary great. Maybe it's sort of in the space. You guys ever see what's it called? The Bat? I gotta check out the channel. I want to say it's something Batman related. It's based off of another book that somebody produced with like Batman 19 through 1939. And it has all these really cool things. And all he does is show pictures of the books and do a voiceover, but it's really well done. Oh, God. Now I'm looking to see what it's called. And maybe you've seen it, maybe you have not. And finally, the Bat Feed. It's called the Bat Feed. It's a channel that has all these, mockumentaries based on this fictionalization of Batman in the 30s. And it's really good. It's really well done. And YouTube will be fine. It'll has a monopoly. YouTube probably will. Doesn't mean you can't listen. Even Coca-Cola has Pepsi. An alternative can spring up. It definitely can. If the investor is big enough and if they're willing to weather the storm themselves, because they have to deal with a world without Google, because that's a huge part of you. That's obviously a huge, or YouTube is a huge part of Google or Alphabet. So yeah. And they're not mockumentaries in this from the standpoint of being like comedic, but this Gotham doesn't exist. You know what I mean? But it done documentary style as if they are. Or it does. Last but not least, oh yeah, please check out the benefactor of the channel, Ogre Squasher 101. So I hope is at least lurking. And feel no obligation to benefact. If you are I really want to produce entertaining content. That's really my hope and goal. And the fact that Ogre Squasher has been so supportive, and all you guys have been so supportive, not just with your likes and being here, but financially is still mind blowing to me. I just want to, be something you guys can watch in the background or chill or do whatever the hell you guys got going on, like so many content creators are to me. So I'm happy to just do that. So to continue on, we're talking about Hollywood. We're talking about box office. We're talking about a lot of stuff going on, right? With this new Hollywood. Because they made the decision to go all in with streaming, like the entire industry, one of the companies, your favorite and mine, I mean that a little sarcastically, Disney, has cut ties with Scarlett Johansson after this Black Widow lawsuit, which I saw coming. The Black Widow lawsuit makes 100% sense from her perspective, where she's already somebody, as much as she wants to play woke, The woke mob don't like ScarJo anyway. Because remember, she's too sexualized. She tried to play a trans character once. She also did kind of rape. She whitewashed Ghost in the Shell. So the woke mob already hates her. So, and the style of actress she is, where her looks are her, main drawing factor. Even if she did hop on the Anavar and foreskin facials, look it up. The foreskin facial thing is real. Even if she did all that and hopped on every chemical known to man and got out of plastic surgery to milk some extra years of looks prime out of herself, they don't push that type of actress that much anymore. Look what they did to Sasha Collier, the new Supergirl or Superwoman, whatever she is. They uglied her up. Rose Tico, Ray, Daisy Ridley. They ugly them up now. She's kind of hitting it, but she hasn't hit it completely. She could listen in this day and age. You can get a few extra years. You can get a few extra years out of yourself. Yeah, so I think it was this show a few weeks ago. Probably the last episode where it was just me and Matt. We were talking about these weird fucking things that there's this thing where they can take foreskins from I can't remember what country, and they add them to facials. Yeah. I think they're kids' foreskins. It's really fucked up. Some fucked up Hollywood thing they do. But back to Scarlett Johansson. Why this craziness with this lawsuit was a well worth a gamble for her. She can't exist in this Hollywood, and Disney or the Marvel glow doesn't last when you leave the Marvel space. Robert fucking Downey Jr. had a flop right before the pandemic with the Dr. Dolittle reboot. Oh, Hollywood. Well, she's still fine. Some of these girls, she can still get a couple extra years out of her. And South Korea, I knew it was somewhere. And of course, it's gross. It's fucking disgusting. Hollywood is evil. This world is evil. If you've learned nothing in that past year and a half, the powerful people in this world are really evil and disgusting. Speaking of a couple of them, Disney and ScarJo, she's at a point where she has nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. She was not going to be a Helen Mirren or one of these actresses who, based off acting skill, can still go for another 20, 30, 40 years. That's not who she is. She sold off her body, which is, it's still, like I said, still looks good, but for Hollywood, not quite there. And even if it was, Hollywood is not pushing that way. They're trying to ugly up the cute girls anyway. And she's already fucking dead in the MCU. And I lost a lot of people with the foreskin facials. They said, nope, that's too much for me. Please come back. Oh, Islington girl. The first part is true. Second part is not. To be fair, the Hollywood wall is 25. Normal women don't have a wall. I would disagree with that second part. I love you ladies, but that's just not the case. But one can of worms at a time. One can of worms at a time. I don't want Islington girl to strap me down. Disney has said fuck you, ScarJo, after this lawsuit. I mean, it should be obvious. And yeah, that was gross. It's extremely gross. Some people have come back. And I appreciate you being here, Punk Waddle. But that's, a couple of episodes ago, I want to say it's the last time it was just me and Matt. Couldn't tell you which channel it was on. Maybe this one, may have been Matt's. But we talked about this because Hollywood does a lot of really evil, weird shit. But back to this. I'm not going to go through the whole article. If you haven't heard, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because she thinks, and she's claiming that they breached her contract when they released Black Widow on Disney Plus the same day it was released in theaters. Not wall as far as their life. I meant I was referring to looks, but everyone just lives their life. I think that's kind of it. And the whole thing is disingenuous on both ends. Well, listen, you know what? A lot of people are, she made $20 million. If my contract says something, my contract says something. You know what I mean? Nobody else wants their contract to be breached. If you're a contractor and you do a lot of work for the home, and you, even if you made a lot of money for your work, you want what you were contracted to get paid. Now, one thing I will agree where there's maybe some disingenuousness on ScarJo's point. Apparently people who have read the contract, and I'm not sure if, I didn't read it and I wasn't there, people who are familiar with how these contracts work, believe that the statement in the contract only said theatrical release, not exclusive theatrical release, which would null and void her lawsuit. But there's still value in trying to get Disney to go to Discovery where their books can be public record. It's almost an extortion element to it because Disney does not want to go to a open trial where any of their financials or their practices can be that of public record. So even though they cut ties, they're probably going to have to cut a check. They're probably going to settle. She wanted, I think, 50. They'll probably settle out of court for another 20. She'll go about her merry way and ride off in the sunset with that extra 20. And I think she supposedly had made 100 some odd million for Hollywood, maybe even worth that much. I don't know. She's made a lot of money. She'll get another payday, ride off in the sunset. But we can only hope this thing goes to trial. And every time Disney gets sued, an angel gets his wings. Must be a lot of angels with wings nowadays because they got a lot of reason to be sued. But like the interesting element for us, if this thing goes to trial, is having that shit on record, having Disney practices and financials on record. I don't think it'll get there. That's where the disingenuousness element is definitely true. But because she's definitely trying to semi-extort them. And I've hit the wall as far as looks. I'm not going to be the pedal call people black. But I get what you mean. You can totally let yourself go within your age group. Yeah. And this is forced severance pay. I'm fine with it. Yeah. It's one of those things that because it's playing out publicly, it's like, because you don't want to side with anybody. You don't want to side with a millionaire, even if they're fighting a billionaire. But it's like, if it was you, you would do the same thing. If it was you and your workspace, you're a business owner, you're an independent contractor of some kind, or even, work in a corporation, but you have some sort of contract on how things are supposed to play out compensation-wise. Doesn't matter how much you're being compensated. You're going to make sure the terms are met because Disney for damn sure is going to make sure the terms are met on their end. I already read that. So, yeah. So that's my thing, but it's interesting. It's interesting to see Disney just cut their ties. I wonder if she'll get the Gina Carano treatment. That's the real question. Will she get the Gina Carano treatment from Disney? I mean, they already did the thing where they said it was insensitive doing the coup. Like, it's also insensitive not to pay your employees. Also insensitive to lay off fucking thousands and thousands of employees, fucking Disney. Fuck you guys. Capitalism, bruh. Yeah. Which is not a bad thing. People blame capitalism for shit that has nothing. People blame every element of greed and human corruption on capitalism. They'll say, they did this because of capitalism. And it'll be something that could absolutely happen just the same. It's not worse under socialism. Human beings suck, man. No matter what system you put us under, you're going to do fucked up things. Capitalism at least gives, in my view, more power to more people. And, people always toss out socialism. I know you were just joking since you did, socialism. And you do want to help people, right? But it's like none of these people who are always wanting taxpayer money and the state to do stuff are willing to put their money where their mouth is and start a commune. No, all these communists never want to start a commune. But that's another can of worms for another day. It really seems like she's trying to hashtag me as well, Disney's pockets. They really should have done this in closed doors, but then again, we really don't know if everything we're seeing is 100% true. That's how it goes with any news. That's how it goes with any news. So we don't know if this is true. We don't know what's what. Your capitalism is way over feudalism, and that's where we're headed. That is where we're headed. Yeah, stupid humans. Humans are stupid. Humans are stupid. But yeah, we are headed right for fucking feudalism. So I don't know. I mentioned Gina Carano, and I kind of this is kind of gonna be the last major topic. I'll probably stick around, just shoot the shit, and then maybe end on a positive story. Even though it's not really the culture crime fires thing, it's kind of a Vigilante Williamson show thing. But I like ending on positive stories. So I talked about Gina Carano, and everybody loves her, right? And it has nothing to do with her per se, but there was a point, right after she got fired. And right after, everybody was just so much about her, like the community almost turned her heel to me, because anything that gets overexposed is going to be like, and corporate feudalism, woo, yeah, that's what's going next. And ironically, it was capitalism that broke the back of the feudal system. The rise of the merchant class broke the power of the kings. Now the merchant class are the kings. But this is not back to Gina Carano. Back to a point I'm trying to make, and this is a commentary. I'm not even gonna call it a critique. A commentary over certain elements of the community that wear on me a bit, and it's this one, and it's understandable given everything, but it's almost this one for validation. Let's say Gina Carano was neutral and just canceled, which we saw happen to Chris Pratt. Do you think there would be as much love for her? I mean, she is thicker than a goddamn Snicker. She seems like a really good person. But a lot of the love is because she was saying things that a lot of us tend to agree with, whether you consider them base, conservative, non-leftist, whatever. Yeah, Strikeforce era, yeah, she was actually a really good fighter at one point. People forget that. And Ascension Dildo says, like her, she's just a terrible actress. Terrible strong. We've seen some of the stuff Matt was in, and Matt looks like fucking Denzel, the white Denzel Washington, compared to a lot of actors and actresses he was acting with. So that's terrible. I don't know. I saw Mortal Kombat, man. Like, terrible. That's a reach too. That's a reach in the other direction, man. I think that's a reach in the other direction. Man. I wouldn't go that far. She's adequate. And she's pretty she's above average in action scenes. And this isn't about her. I like her too. But it was that overemphasis that kind of got to me. Now, it's obviously died down quite a bit. But do you think there would have been even that if she was just, a Chris Pratt type? Just didn't go to the right party and got canceled and ended up unjustly fired? Or was a lot of the love people have for her the fact that she agrees with us or agrees with a lot of, not everyone agrees with everything, but it was the world of competitive agreement. Do you feel like, because this is the question I ask you guys and I ask myself, how necessary is validation? It's not just her. Anytime I see a story over somebody that has a take that is similar to either the fandom or, again, non-leftists of any kind, free thinkers, so to speak, how free are they really thinking? It seems like there's this like, oh man, did you hear what this person said? They're so based. And it's like, and I'm losing people. People are darting out. Nobody wants to hear this. But this is what I'm here for. I got to ask these questions. And since you did it, so like you said, this community is still an echo chamber. It gets echo chambery. And again, I'm not, we all want some sort of validation, but I'm not a validation mark, man. I don't need people to agree with me. I love the people who left the chat, man, who just left, said, I don't want to hear this. Because a lot of people, almost half the people in the stream left when I brought this subject. And yeah, she has common sense. I agree with her. But my point is less about her. It's more about the reaction to her. Do you think you would have the reaction if you didn't know how she thought either way? Completely neutral, but she still got canceled. Because neutral people get canceled all the time. I don't think she would have the love and admiration. I think a lot of it is because She says things I agree with. And hell, a lot of you are probably watching because I say things you agree with, and a lot of people left maybe because I'm saying things they don't agree with. How relevant is validation or agreement in all this? I'm not even going to say, oh, we're becoming like that. We're not. Got a long way to go. But I do want to explore the question. And I think it's interesting that the chat is just dropping at the thought of asking this question. That's an interesting feedback. I've lost 10 people of like 16 people, 15, 16 people in the chat. They left within 2 or 3 minutes. Now, maybe I spoke wrong. Maybe I misspoke. I wasn't trying to criticize Miss Carano. I like her a lot. I was just using that as a backdrop to ask a question. And instead of answering, cinching dildos here and stay at home, a lot of people here, a lot of people just left. That's a bit scary because I'm not trying to feed into an echo chamber just for the sake of echo chamber. And I'm not always, I like the space a ton. I love the space. I love what everyone does. I love being a part of it. I'm honored that I've gotten 600 plus subs. I've been able to, the Culture Crime Fires proper is a really good show. All the different guests we've had. We had Clifton. We had Robert Meyer Burnett, Gary from The Erotic, Cameron, Pasha, all these great, Chrissy Mayer, all these great guests we've been able to have. It's been really fun. It would have never happened if it wasn't part of the community. This is not a critique on Gina or the community. Okay, at least T-Shirt's story said it ain't personal. Got another gig right this moment, so please take care. It's been a fun stream. Okay, I believe you, T-Shirt. I believe that. And yeah, she stood for what's right conservatively and doesn't care what happens to her career. Is a big enough draw of people who had enough. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. It's not just that she agrees with her energy and that not caring about consequences is something that we all want to root for the rebel with a heart of gold, the person who stands up for what they believe. But I agree with that a ton. Had she just been neutral, would she have had the outpouring of love and respect that everyone had? Just she got canceled similar to Chris Pratt, where he was just canceled for not going to a party he wasn't invited to. Not canceled, but he was shat on. They fucking made Star-Lord gay or bi to fuck with him. All sorts of shit. And people, we did comment on it. He got support. I think a lot of people watched Tomorrow War for that reason. Not like he didn't get any support, but I don't know if the outpouring would be the same if she had a similar issue, because she's not as big a star as Chris Pratt. She became a bigger star with the what happened. And, for her part, she's been really great. You know what I mean? She's always been, her when she is on social media is not canceled. She says sensible stuff. She hasn't really milked it like she could have. She's been, this isn't a critique on her. But yeah, people just want to hear what they want to hear. And they also they want to hear what they want to hear as well. They want to hear what they want to hear. And then Cinch and Dildo, and interesting thing, he says that beef, I ain't gonna say the rest, that happened on FNT about a month ago. Didn't answer your question. I don't know what will. What the most, for my streams, for solo VW, what the most popular solo stream I've ever had is, right? Had 50 people in the chat when I was talking about the fallout of that FNT thing. I've never done that solo again. I don't even know if I've done that on this channel, because the biggest stream we've ever had was on a Mesh channel with Gary. So I don't know if I've ever done 50 or anything. I think it was like 49 or 50 on any other subject but that drama. So yeah, I think you're onto something, man. And that's why I ask these questions, man. I don't think I would like to think people come here to hear some balance. People have commented, man, I appreciate your balance. And I appreciate T-Shirt Historian. Please check out him. I don't know why I haven't said it. Sub's a T-Shirt Historian. I've been on his channel. What am I doing? I'm terrible. Guys should hate me. Man, that's why people leave, because I'm terrible. But yes, please sub to my man T-Shirt Historian. I hope everything goes well at your other gig. Have a good night. What the fuck is wrong with the word twink? Boy, worked to sing long and hard for that title. Oh boy. Oh boy. And Blinzer, who sent the super chat as I ended one of these shows, saying another great show. I just want to let you know I did see that super chat and I appreciate it. But man, you're not wrong. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. And I apologize to Man of War from Cinch and Dildo. The truth is, people sort of like the echo chamber. People sort of like the validation. I was not expecting a massive exit for bringing up Gina Carano. And maybe that was it, because when you hear that, you're like, oh, is he criticizing Gina? No. But just asking the question, hey, if she was neutral and you had no idea how she thought but still got canceled, would you have cared? Apparently, that question got answered. There is some echo chamber still in here. There's some echo chamber still, and not just this. And I'm not exclusive to the community. I'm really talking about the whole hashtag quote air quote conservative movement. I call them the conservatives, but non-leftists really, because I lean libertarian. If you have to pick something, anarcho-cap libertarian, a ripper anarcho-capitalist, you know what I mean? A young ripper anarcho-capitalist, young ripper influenced, or maybe even Thomas Sowell influenced. But the whole non-leftist, there's a lot of Kevin Sorbo, man. I couldn't give a quarter of a fuck what he thinks about anything. Not for any particular reason, just to not care. So if he says a bunch of stuff I agree with or a bunch of stuff I don't, I couldn't care less. But there are people who, he's based. And he may be. It may be. Does he have a podcast? If he has a podcast, maybe he does. Oh, and it's a good podcast. Okay. But otherwise, it's like, I don't really need somebody to agree with me. But then, certain celebrities say certain things. It's a big story. Because, they agree with us. They have conservative elements. That's also, it's just like, come on, bro. Conservatives are just liberals driving the speed limit. When you talk about policy, of course. But I'm more talking about, I guess, the social conservative or social non-leftist. Since Kevin Sorbo was funny, especially when he ripped those curfews, I'm not even aware. Like I said, I care so little. I'm not even aware of a lot of the comments. I'm more talking about the reaction. Man, I'm sure he has had some takes that I would like or agree with. But it's just like the making a big deal over when some celebrity agrees with you or when some celebrity says something that you agree with. There is some relevance for certain things. Hell, we got so many people who are leftists. I get it. I get what happened. If you're talking about the community or the fellowship, so to speak, you have a group of people who've been yelled at and called toxic and called everything but a child of God for the past 3, 4, 5 years, and everything they cared about ruined. It feels good to get a bone every once in a while. That's what she said. And if you're talking about the non-leftists, people who aren't SJWs, even some people who are liberal, you get, chastised, again, called everything but a child of God for maybe a little longer than that. And now it's even more and more, oh man, you're a hate merchant. I get it. I get when someone says, hey, I get when you hear something in public that you agree with when it's not fashionable to do so. I get that having an impact. I'm not saying it has no impact on me, but I am a bit worried that it has so much impact so often and that there's so many echo chambery elements, because that's not what I'm trying to be a part of either. I'm not trying to be in an echo chamber. I'm not trying to just say things that everybody agree with. And I appreciate everybody that happened to dart out. Maybe it wasn't all because of what I was saying. Obviously, T-shirt historian had to go. Some people had to go. And hell, newly Christian 500 subs. Hopefully still at 500 subs because we know how YouTube is. 24/7 Fusion Media. Say, how's it going? Hope everything is good with me. Things are cool. Got a 24. And Sister Diddle says, used to be a classical liberal. Last 2 years turned me into a hardcore anarchist. Yeah, I'm anarcho-capitalism. But I mean, I have some centrist. You know, I don't know if I'm quite as far. I'm pretty far over Ripper. And I too don't care about those damn roads. I lived in Michigan. I saw what the state can do to roads. The state can make the most fucked up roads on earth. So fuck the state, fuck these roads. But I do worry about whether or not people can actually pull it off. But that's not necessarily the point. The point is there's an echo chambery element, not just to the fellowship, so to speak, or the community, but to all non-leftists, to all people who are kind of all in this fight together, so to speak. And I'm just commenting on it. I'm not even like a hardcore, we need to. I'm just noticing it and speaking on it. Maybe I came off wrong, but it was interesting that when I broached the topic, a lot of people did. That's an interesting thing that had happened. I like Ben Shapiro. A liberal cousin says he always lies. I said name one of his lies. My cousin gave no examples. Just got angry. Too many people, libs and cons, are like that. Yes, a lot of people are. I don't like Ben Shapiro. Why? I just fucking don't. I just don't feel like watching his content. Only so many hours in a day, and he doesn't produce content that engages me. That's the reason. And, you know, and some of his takes can be, isn't he a pro-jab guy? That's an example where I have a little bit of a bias. I'm not biased if you're pro-jab. I'm biased if you're pro-required jab. If I hear that, I hit unsub, we're gone. Especially when, you know, that's a whole nother can of worms. But that shit, when I see that you're pro the state compelling people to put a substance in their body, a substance that can't even be, you know, trusted to do what the fuck it's supposed to do, I'm out of there. But otherwise, you know, I just, you know, everybody's not everybody's cup of tea, and everybody's not supposed to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not a neocon guy either. And 24/7 Fusion is pro vigilante. I appreciate that. I'm pro 24/7 Fusion Media. Please sub if you haven't already, so we can stay over 500. So he can stay over 500. Boy, that sounds like a hard watch. This is what I mean about me personally, vigilante, just having such a disinterest in validation. I couldn't care less to. And Glenzer, I appreciate it. It's not knocking you. Shapiro and Bill Maher on CRT. That just sounds like a chore. I don't care what neither one of them think on critical race theory. Obviously, I'm not a critical race theory guy. I really dislike it. I really think it's more racist. But like, I just fuck both those guys. Like, I don't care what they think. Are they going to affect? You know what? In a way, I should, because to quote Ripper, politics is not just him, but he's really big on the culture, and they are cultural influencers, right? So I probably should care a little bit more, right? But it's just like a conversation I just would not want to see. I just have even if the person I agree with on the topic wins the debate, so to speak, it's just like, okay. I'd rather watch Transformers. I'd rather watch somebody stream. I'd rather lurk in the chat of somebody streaming. You know what I mean? I think with my current schedule, with how much I'm putting forth to this, I'm still working on a review I've been working on for 2 fucking months, and this editing is a goddamn chore. But I still want to do more content like this, even though it's taking me forever. I only have so many hours for actual entertainment. I'd rather watch anything else on earth than two people argue about CRT. And you're welcome, man. And check out the Primetime Kings every Monday. Me, 24/7 Fusion Media, and Fast Steven Seagal on 24/7 Fusion Media's channel. Another reason you should sub to him if you haven't already. Since you did, though, couldn't care less either. And oh no, Stay at Home Podcast is unsubbing. He says, "Oh, VW doesn't like Ben Shapiro, unsubbing now." Haha. Joking aside, people should just get to good. People should just get to good and throw away the bad. Oh, get to good and throw away the bad like the old days. You deserve a bigger audience. I don't deserve shit. I appreciate it. But I gotta earn it. I don't have a bigger audience because I don't have a bigger audience. So I gotta get better. I have to get better. I really have to get better. Anytime I've been watching, like I said, I watch content outside the space. And these motherfuckers are way better than me. I was watching a wrestling guy. I don't give his name. I fucked with him way back in the day. With this Daniel Bryan CM Punk thing, the algorithms went crazy. And so I've been paying a little bit more attention to wrestling. And I'm not sure if you guys know JD from New York. I am a fan of this guy. I've been a fan of this guy since he had like 30K or less, 2016. And then my interest in wrestling went down so much for like almost a year. I had stopped watching most wrestling and only watched him and a few other podcasts. And then my interest fell to where I didn't watch him and I just stopped altogether. So for about a year and a half, 2 years, I haven't heard him. And I haven't really been glued into wrestling outside of just every now and again. But his stuff has come across, and he was already really good. He's gotten so much better. That's part of the reason I got a green screen, because he has a green screen set. I'm like, man, I got to get a good green screen. And I'm like, man, he's so good. If you like his style, he talks his shit. And it's also kind of interesting. There's people who say, man, WWE is the only company that hates their fans. There's somebody said that in this chat. I'm like, you don't know what's going on outside your own space, do you? Because it's like that everywhere. But that's, talk about the echo chamber. There's other echo chambers who think, oh, man, I'm the only person. We're the only group of people being persecuted by this billion-dollar corporation. Like, nah, you're not. But, yeah, he's really good. If you want to hear a little hard-edged, critical take of wrestling, he's a good guy to watch. He likes AEW, even though my only dislike for them is them fucking with me. I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but he's good at one, talking, being able to talk consistently, clearly. That's something I struggle with. I slur words, and I also have, me personally, I have ADD. Sometimes I'm on a topic and then I just mid-sentence, hey! And I got to get balanced. I love talking to you guys. I love the chat. I got balance talking to you guys, and also there's a lot of people outside the space who are really good. Not sure how I got on that topic. Bro, I don't know. That's why I don't have it up. I don't know, and that's why I don't have it up. I have to learn. I literally have to learn. I know there's something with OBS I got to do, something with the lighting I got to do. I got a lot of work because it didn't look good when I premiered it on the Primetime King, so I got to figure it out. Only AEW shows I caught with the first 3 or 4. Then they changed the time. Oh, man. I'm laughing at Ascension Dildo. I'm a mumble streamer, very modern of me. No, very 2018. Mumble rap isn't even the hottest thing anymore, is it? Huh. What a coincidence. Stop watching the NFL as well as the WWF professional sports. Yeah, I think a lot of people stopped watching sports recently. But yeah, I mumble so much. And I got to get better. I have to get so much better. Oh, I think somebody said I deserve the audience, and that's how I started it. And I appreciate the compliment. Because, stay-at-home podcast. By the way, sub to the stay-at-home podcast if you haven't. And yeah, kind of anybody might sign AEW. We'll see. They're probably signing too many people. I'm not going to get too hardcore in wrestling, but I think it would be better if a lot of these guys and gals went back to the indies, because that's part of the reason wrestling kind of fell off, because once it became just these 2 companies, the rest of wrestling got worse because so much talent was concentrated in these 2 companies. And now that WWE is releasing a lot of that talent, I would love for it to be a little bit more dispersed. And actually, I don't know if it's trap. I have the beat. And unfortunately, you can hear me when I'm rapping. I have a rap song on this damn channel. The fuck is it called? Dewey. Because it's just the sample goes, Dewey, or whatever. Shout out to Jay Marvelous, a way bigger channel who produced it. Just dropped the beat tape. He talks about like the entertainment industry, the dark side, like the real nefarious Illuminati style shit. But he also does beats, and it's a channel that is a lot bigger than mine. Really cool. Jay Marvelous, spelled Marvelous. LIS, I believe. WWE pushes guys, Baron Corbin, and lots of women who can't seem to get over. Yeah. WWE right now is just trying to sell. They're trying to sell. That like it's not even about. I mean, for years you're right. They push people who couldn't get over, but right now they're just trying to sell this product. And when I mean sell this product, I mean the company itself. It's going to be Apple WE or NBC WE or Disney WE in short order. There's no doubt about that. And I'll say in the next 18 months it'll be sold. 18 months or so. And it's going to sell for a lot of money. It's going to be a cash out thing as far as WWE goes. I guess, I guess I'll just hang around. A lot of people left when I asked the question about echo chambery elements and just people need validation. I'm really just as asking. I'm not trying to say it, it's understandable to want people in this climate where you have a media complex that's so against you. It's understandable to want people who are on your side. It wasn't as much of a not as it was a legitimate question. How necessary is that? How necessary is other people's validation? And just the fact, I'm not necessarily always looking for it, and I'm not necessarily always interested. But interesting that people darted out. I don't know if I got any unsubs either. Wouldn't that be interesting? If I actually piss people off that much that they unsub, we'll see. I hope not. But if I did, then there's nothing I could do. It looks like I have one less sub. Now it could just be the streaming bug. Sometimes when you stream, a sub disappears, just disappears into the ether. Questioning is forbidden. I believe that's what you're trying to say, Vig. No matter what the side you're on, you're right. That's why I got a question. That's why we got to do it. That's why we got to do it. Listen, if you came to this channel and you're just looking for somebody to say a bunch of things you agree with, I'm sure I'll do it some of the time, but I'm never going to be that guy for you. And I apologize. I want you to stay. I want you to stay and we can grow. I'm not going to say, you should leave. No. Please stay. Please stay. Please stay. Please keep me in check. I don't want to be in my own echo chamber. Keep me in check if you can, if you got the time to. But I can't, because that's just not how I'm built. That's just not how I'm built. Forbidden in German. I did not see that coming. But can't think of anyone who watch. I agree 100%. Agree to disagree, right? Yeah, we got to agree to disagree. And I'm just asking, did you need competitive agreement? Maybe people do. Maybe a lot of people had stuff to do at that time. Maybe just, maybe invoking the name of Gina Carano and saying anything other than effusive praise got to people. I didn't even say anything bad about her because I like her. I just wonder if she was more neutral, if you didn't know what she thought, and she got canceled similar to what happened with Chris Pratt, where it was nothing they did, nothing that they said, it was just assumed. Would she have had the impact as it was because of the things she said? And that doesn't make you a bad person for, liking her. And I still like her. And I can't, probably because of a lot of things she said. Sorry, hold on a second. Just got a text. All right. Yeah, I liked her in Mandalorian. And it was clear that they were setting her up. And J.M. Cruz thought it was verbatim. Yeah, best way to be. Everybody can't agree with everybody all the time. See, I can't watch hardcore commies. I can watch R&B. He's not hardcore though. And I can't watch hardcore rap. Please entertain me. Like, what I mean? Entertain, and if you got information, cool. And inform, but I don't really, I'm not a political guy, man. I'm not a guy who eats, sleeps, breathes politics. I talk about it because, It impacts the world. Politics and political slant has never been more impactful than it is now. So it's relevant to a lot of things. But I'm not a guy who cares. Like, I mean, I got black conservative perspective. I'm sub to him. Get, some of that conservative news through him. Still, Anthony Brian Logan. Are there only black conservatives I fuck with? Look at me being racist. Cause I used to fuck with what was the guy? I saw his channel blow up. Fucking Steve Turley. I'm a little less. I haven't watched his stuff in a while. That's neither here nor there. I get it. I do lean towards the right, so to speak, the modern right, so to speak. I guess, but I'm not a conservative. I'm not a regressive democrat or a conservative. I actually don't fuck with Brandon Tatum. No disrespect to him. I don't dislike him either, but it's just not somebody I watch a lot of videos from. But I know who he is. Find him entertaining. I don't watch him for political reasons. They make me laugh. Again, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. And Steve, I remember when he was at like 200K, which is still massive. Now he's probably close to 1 million. Liberal hive mind. I remember him being smaller, close to me. I do like Jericho Green. But again, entertaining. He's very entertaining. Being entertaining has a huge reason to why I will watch a channel or not. So, because and then news is slanted even on this side. So every now and again I'm hearing stories of, man, like, I didn't even hear about that. Well, was it slanted towards you, so you didn't? It's like, that was the point. I got to call out all sides. I'm not here to be just I don't know, this anti-wokester. I'm not here. I've said it time and time again, and I'll say it time and time and again. I'm not here to be CNN where the left is my Trump or SJWs are my Trump. And yeah, I've been watching Hodge to win since they were about lifting. I remember when they were doing the little food where they had like thousands of calories in a day and shit like that. So I have been watching them, but I don't watch too much of them because I only want so much politics in my feed. I only want so much of certain things. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm intentionally balancing things out, but I can't stay in this space all the time because I'll drive myself crazy, especially because I do this shit now. Comedy Twins. Are Comedy Twins somebody different than the Hodge Twins? And Essential Dildo's not a fan. I like them fine, but I don't know if I'm still sub to them. There's been certain people where even though I didn't even unsub, YouTube might unsub me. And I'm like, or I guess YouTube is kind of shadow ban. I think I am still sub to Turley. They're kind of shadow banning to me, and I'm not like going out of my way. I also shadow ban fucking Confish. And I've been meaning to check more of them out. I need to just unsub and resub. But yeah, I'm not somebody. Oh, it is them. Okay. I know they did like tours and shit. But in general, I'm not somebody who likes echo chambers. Even if there's people I agree with, there's still reason to just ask questions. And it's interesting. Again, I lost quite a few people in the chat, but I thank you anyone who rolled through this whole episode. This is an episode without Matt. And yeah, YouTube has unsubbed Glenzer from a lot of channels. Had to resub dozens of times this year. I've had Terminus S, which he's probably been unsubbed again, but he's subbed to me at least 3 times. So shout out to Terminus S. So yeah. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna actually close down. This is not the Culture Crime Fighters. It's just a Culture Crime Fighter. I appreciate any and everybody who's been a part of this stream. We're gonna close on a positive news story, so don't go yet. We got a little bit left. But I just do want to thank everybody who stuck it out. Anyone who watches the playback, please comment. Let me know that was I off base for what I said earlier, asking about the echo chambery elements and asking about the necessity of validation for a lot of not just this space, but the whole non-leftist space as a whole. I have blackface stick. Is that a joke? Because I'm like, I don't know about any blackfish stick. And off topic, is the StreamYard Essentials plan a good deal? I have. So if you notice, there's still a StreamYard logo. I got a plan. I'm not sure what it's called, but it was around the time of Black Friday, and they had like a special plan that's only $10 a month. So that's what I'm using. That's what allows me to. I can host up to 10 people. I have a lot of advantages, but some disadvantages. So I can't take off the StreamYard logo. And I mean, it works for me, but I'm only paying $10 a month. I'm not paying any of the $20 a month and everything. And yeah, thank you for everyone for being here. And okay, doubt anyone sub manually at least. No dislikes on the stream. That's good. And please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. You're right. No dislikes. Maybe it's all in my head. It's just a weird thing to have happen. Weird thing to have happen. All right, let's talk about something positive, and I'll let you guys go about your nights. So I'm just checking the time. Atlanta sisters, and no, they're not sisters, but they're sisters. Because it's Atlanta and it's thought of as a chocolate city. They raised thousands to give to refugee children with school supplies. Two sisters have made their mission to help local refugee families who are unable to afford backpacks and school supplies as students begin a new school year. I'm going to leave all my criticism over the school system out of this because this is a really cool story in its heart. Lily Babcock recently worked at a summer camp with refugee children. I've always loved going back to school, like fancy pencils, helped me love learning. I'm bite my tongue about the education system. I realized if we could get school supplies to all of our children, it could help them have the same love for learning and happiness that I've experienced. So Lily and her 14-year-old sister, Evie, baked and campaigned to raise enough money to stuff a few backpacks with supplies, and they raised over $4,000, which is incredible, and stuffed 240 backpacks, and that's really exciting. I agree. The backpacks will be distributed to refugee children in the Atlanta area with the help of New American Pathways. Chief Advancement Officer Nancy Gaddy said refugee families the refugee families they serve often don't have money or access to school supplies. These are people that have mostly been in horrific circumstances all over the world. Some are victims of health crises or natural disasters. Last thing you want a parent to be doing is scrambling just to get a book bag and paper supplies. And Lily and Evie, this is a video. I'm not going to watch the video because I've gotten some shit with the videos. Holy shit. This stream was about to end. I'm chilling. I'm talking positive shit. I'm winding down. I'm chilling. And hell for Ron Martin stopping by and smashing the like button. And fucking Ogre Squasher. Holy shit. $201.17. Now, if you notice, Ogre, we're down. Oh my God. We're down to Culture Crime Fighter because Max had to work because of the Vegas thing. And this is not an episode of the Culture Crime Fighter. It's really just a solo stream with a funky thumbnail. Thank you so much, bro. Like, so the Vigilante Mobile is down. I guess it's down and because of brakes. And I need to get it fixed. And so, like, this helps a ton. I tried to fix it myself. Literally, there's a fucking bolt on the caliper that is unmovable for me. And I had a braking bar. I fucking hit it with PB blaster, everything. Could not get this fucking bolt off, so I said, fuck it. I'm going to go to a shop, especially because I think I have a deeper issue, may need rotors, may just need to drain the brake system because I put on brakes last year, and the front brakes are already put on front brakes last year. I'm flustered because I can't believe you gave me this much. Put on front brakes last year. A year later, need new ones. It was almost a year to the day because it was summer last year. So I'm like, okay, I probably should just take it to a shop. I'm a jag leg trying to fix on my own shit. It's a miracle the damn car didn't fall on my head. So I gotta take it to a shop, and this helps a ton. So thank you, Ogre Squasher. Like, God damn it, thank you, bro. Thank you, and thank you for stopping by and smashing the like, Ron Martin. Holy shit, man. No issues with what you said today, man. Again, it's just people being people. Mostly can't handle the heat or the truth. Keep doing what you're doing. And I don't want to just act like everybody who left had to have left because of what I said. They absolutely didn't have to. Obviously, T-shirt said, "Hey man, I'm leaving," but it has nothing to do with that. I just got to go to work or whatever. So I get it. And yeah, Ogre Squasher dropping bombs. Wow. Greetings all. So Ogie, yeah, we're actually at the end. We're at the end. Please watch the playback, but I got to stick around a little longer just to say hi to you. Anything you want me to do or talk about, let me know, man. Because you, oh boy, Ascension Dildo. He's not that type of pilot. You don't need to be, man. He is the private jet. He is the private jet. He's doing pretty good. So, Ogie, before we go, any requests, whatever you want, man. Like I said, you basically you're keeping the vigilante lights, the cave in the vigilante, the lights in the vigilante cave. I'm so damn flustered. You're keeping the lights in the vigilante cave open or on, and you're getting the fucking vigilante mobile back on the road. Any fucking request you have, as I flustered like a big booty chick smiled at me. I don't know what to say or do. What does Ogre Squasher want for the next whatever? I don't know how long I'll go because, like I said, had you not gone, I was ready to wrap up. Read the positive story. I held my tongue about the fucking education system. It was a lot I could have said, but I'd rather focus on the positive. What does Ogre Squasher want, man? Because you and actually, let me just make sure you. Yep, just a tip. It's a massive tip though. Bigger than most tips. That's what she said, obviously. But yeah, what do you want? Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Not whatever. We're not doing the casting couch thing. I'm not a Twitch streamer. I don't, not an OnlyFans guy either. It's not whatever you want. But relative to streaming. What do you want? Have I seen what Oregon did? No, what did Oregon do? That's what I mean. I'm not the most political guy. I mean, obviously I have my opinion on shit, but I'm just not the one who's always glued in. Especially nowadays. It's just getting so depressing. I don't want to be. So yeah, let me know what happened to Oregon. That's what she said. I'm glad to entertain. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Oregon. I really want to, and I'm not trying to. I really want to know what Ogre wants as a request. So, Ogie, please let me know what you want as a request. And actually, let me just check my email in case you just emailed me something. Yeah, I'm freaking out. Completely freaking out. Nope, no emails. Let me check the all mail because fucking Gmail. Nope, I don't see anything. So, man, let me know in the chat anything you want before we end the stream, Ogre Squasher. Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. ScarJo cutting ties. Earlier in the stream, we talked about that. Helping students of color. I hope it's not terrible. Oregon. Oh shit! I know what you're talking about. God damn it, I did. Are you since you dildo? Are you talking about the ending of test mandates and shit, like the lowering of test standards? It's something like that, isn't it? I did hear about it. Now that I'm looking it up. I think they did something with the test standards where basically anybody could pass Oregon. I guess they ain't doing that in Baltimore though. They might as well. What's going on here? And you thought that the generation we have is dumber? Wait till you get a load of the future generations they're cooking up. And we can still reset it 24/7 Fusion Media. I'm waiting for Ogre Squasher to. I hope he doesn't just at least, doesn't stay silent. I hope at least says something, man. He just gave me, like I say, just fixed my brakes. Or help fix my brakes because I don't know how much the fucking brake job is going to cost. To reset the ScarJo thing, because actually it spun off into a lot of subjects with that because we were talking about the entertainment industry as a whole. But yeah, math, reading, and writing standards gone. So what is the point of school then? What is school providing? Especially in Oregon. What are they providing? Just babysitting for 12 years? Is that all they are? Public babysitting? Which maybe you can argue that's what they were. Who knows? But it's a complete bullshit. That's another can of worms. But since 24 brought up the Scar joke, we're still waiting for Ogre Squash's response. I feel like remiss to at least not get a response of like something. And yeah, they want to go back to the Stone Age. They want to, you know what it is? They want to take taxpayer money and not have any standards for themselves. Because once you eliminate those standards for the students, you're also eliminating the standards for what? For who? Yep, the teachers. The socialist teachers don't have standards. And this shit's pissing me off. How did Neil deGrasse Tyson happen? And I know everybody may not like him. And I heard people say he's an actor. Whatever, man. He knows more about physics than probably anyone in this chat, unless there's a physicist here that I don't know about. And he's a smart guy. How did he happen? According to the liberal idiocy and the most racist people, nothing is more white supremacist than this. Oh, we're all a bunch of dumb Negroes. Here's a little help for the dumb Negroes so we can feel better. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, the whole education system. I didn't say anything because we're talking about the Atlanta, these girls in Atlanta trying to raise shit for book bags and shit. But the education system is a piece of shit. As standard as the education system that we went through. And now it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse with all these shitty, crazy leftist policies that don't make any fucking sense. And not always. You would like to think that, and there's something to that, Glenzer, that, oh, they're trying to price out intelligence almost, like if you're not rich enough. And yeah, they'll keep their standards, but look what's going on in a lot of these private schools. A lot of woke garbage going on there. A lot of woke garbage there. And don't be surprised to see some of these private schools follow suit, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Or some sort of standard thing. You may think they won't because, oh, they got to keep things going. Maybe, I shouldn't say the charter schools, though, might. And in some of these private, because there's enough leftists. Oh, they're so progressive. There's leftists who are calling their sons daughters just because they want to, not their kids. They're putting it on their kids. There are all sorts of psycho leftists. So there's enough rich psycho leftists to be cool with this shit too. Believe it or not. Because these people are fucking demons. There's no other fucking word for it. That shit pisses me off. But in a way it doesn't, because the education system is garbage. And maybe, just fucking maybe, people will like try to get their kids the fuck out of it when they see shit like this. If they care. Because how many kids are just fucking Tinder hookups? Where the rubber slipped or was never used. Especially this future generation. So you got somebody, I've seen shit where they were fucking this lady talking about why you should have 6 baby daddies instead of 1. Because of all the child support she gets. So that's out there. And then they get to drop their kids off to be babysat for a couple hours. So there's a lot of that. And my 3-year-old son is my daughter just accepted bigot. Shit, you'll accept it when your fucking son goes Arthur Fleck on you when you're in your 80s. Puts a pillow over your fucking head. Sheesh. The only progressive thing I trust is progressive rock and metal. Yeah, it's not progressive, it's regressive. Fucking regressive. Jesus, man. All right, I don't know what's going on, Ogre Squash. I really hope he let me know anything you need, man. Because like I said, you got the damn Vigilante mobile potentially going. So thank you so much, bro. It means a ton. It means a ton. It means a ton to everybody who was in the chat, even the people that left. They don't know nobody owes me shit. So if I said something to piss them off, I just got to eat that and live with it. I'm not going to take back what I said. I don't think I said anything disrespectful. But nobody owes me shit. Nobody owes me interest. Nobody owes me likes. Nobody owes me anything. You guys still here? Thank you so much. Ogre Squash, holy smokes, thank you. Wasn't the only super chatter. I think Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast, also got in a super chat in. And Glenzer from the last show that wasn't read because he sent it right at the end. But I appreciate that super chat as well. I appreciate all the likes, the shares if I got them, because sharing is caring. Anybody who's watching the playback. Appreciate Matt from Foulball Productions, even though he couldn't make it. But A lot of you guys were here for the Culture Crime Fighters. I'm sorry you couldn't deliver, but if not, if I have my partner, half a year. I checked. We've been going since February, and it's August. It's a long time. Most podcasts don't make it that long. Then they go like 7 to 10 episodes. We were in the 20s. So thank him. I'll be hosting the MFer on Friday, and I'll do another stream tomorrow of some kind. I'll do another stream. So we'll come back and do all that, have a little bit of fun tomorrow. Maybe some gaming on addition, which I know you love the gaming. Y'all act like you hate, but you love it. You love it. But thank you all. Thank you, anyone who watched a little bit of this, a lot of it, a second of it. Please hit the like if you like the video, if you like what I'm doing here, please like the video. If you're willing to share, sharing is caring. You're not obliged to share, subscribe, but I really appreciate if you could do either of those. And even if you do none of these things, you just checked it out for a little bit. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, because I'm not owed a damn thing, and I appreciate it. Good night and God bless. And yeah, real quick, Ogre is like one of those dudes, just gives and disappears. Just this anonymous benefactor. And he's moving on the down low. Got to keep a low profile because of his work. Oh boy, he is the private jet. Buzz from Such a Dildo. Peace out to everybody else. Such a Dildo. Stay at home podcast. 24/7 Fusion Media. Who I appreciate a ton. Watch the Primetime Kings on Monday. Watch the playback. Obviously, the benefactor of this channel, the Charlie to my Bosley or Angel. I don't know what I am to him. Ogre Squasher. I really appreciate him. Hopefully I said J.M. Cruz, the Stay at Home podcast. Ron Martin, who just stopped by the light, but I appreciate it. Islington Girl, who was here for a little bit. Lord Thoughtful was here for a little bit earlier. Glenzer, I appreciate you. We always miss your super chats, but I still appreciate you being here. There's a lot of other people here. A lot of other people. T-shirt historian, who was also here. Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast. The Stream Elements bot. Central Dildo's favorite. How can I forget the Code Era? Not the Undisputed Era, the Code Era. That's Robert. Who else was here? So I think, all my posts maybe after the Exodus. But, Noble Iro was lurking and working. I appreciate you. Man. And you got me thinking, man, because you're pretty anti-community. You're notoriously so. And you do, I appreciate you being on the channel, because you keep the juices going, man. Because you don't like, you don't fuck with. And I would almost say, man, sometimes because I get it, and I definitely get it when you were a fan of things, but man, just for your own peace, just watch things you like. And if I'm one of them, I'm more than honored to be that. Make sure, because this life is a struggle. Life is a blessing. And yeah, I'm going to try to make the Predator episode. I got to watch the Predator. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you keeping me honest. I appreciate you being honest about how you feel. It's feedback that I think a lot of people need. Noble, I think I want to say he's at Balkans. I want to say Middle East somewhere. Forgive me. Forgive my head. It's my head, not my heart. I appreciate you just being. You don't hold your tongue. And even if I disagree, like, oh man, that guy, that person I like. I appreciate honesty, man. Honesty is a noble quality to have. A noble quality to have. So thank you everybody who enjoyed this or didn't and just still stuck around or just had me on the background. Whatever you had me as, it means a lot. It really means a lot. These streams, these solo streams, when I can't get them done, they're the most therapeutic things on earth. And thank you all. Good night and God bless. I appreciate you being here. I will see you all later. Peace. You know what? Real quick, let's end with one of the Culture Crime Fighters drops. Even though it's not, just for the fuck of it.